Welcome back to Locker Room Dads. Today's guest is a new teammate of mine who is a legend in Green Bay. He's a Super Bowl champion and, most importantly, a dad of 5 kids. Mason, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, we're here in Green Bay. We are in Mason's office.
A second road show.
Second road
That's
show.
right. Y'all are on the road now. This is great.
He convinced me to buy a home today, so it's a big day. It's a big day.
Well, again, yeah, you talked about family. I mean, you got to take care of your kids, right?
You have to. That's what the show's all about.
Yes, it is.
So we talk about
Definitely.
kids, our life. So speaking of kids in the off season right now, how is it treating you so far? I know you've done some traveling with the kids, vacations and things like that. What's on tap? I know you got a charity golf tournament coming up, right?
Yeah, we aren't taking any kids on that one.
Nice. Nice.
So we just got back from spring break. We went like idiots, went to Orlando and did Disney and kind of all that stuff. One of our favorite nights, we went and did Disney Springs and did Cirque du Soleil.
Oh, yeah.
And saw that, and our little girls are they're performers. They just love all the dancing and the singing and all that stuff. So they were locked in. I mean, we have 4-year-old twins, and they sat through an hour and a half show without without flinching. So I'd like to say that's good parenting, but I think it's just they were distracted for an hour and a half. So we won with that one. But so we did that. What else have we done this off season? Yeah, after getting back from that trip, we liked being down in Florida so much. We're going to take another trip right before off-season program starts here in early April, and right before that, we go down to my mom's. It's kind of my event as well, but my mom runs a charitable organization in my hometown called The Locker, and we're going to go down there and do her golf event and try to help raise some money for some kids. Yeah,
is that what it supports? The kids,
like underprivileged kids in the
Awesome.
area, and then she's expanded lockers to other districts and other areas. So the initial concept was actually kids set these things up. So it was like kids helping kids is the idea, and so it's like students would actually say like, there's a need here. Let's find a way to help our fellow student and keep it kind of under wraps, keep it, discretionary and make sure that, kids have what they need. It's crazy how often you might think somebody's doing really well or has something, going on. And then you find out, a month or two later that, dad lost a job or, something happened and they're actually struggling and they're just putting on a face and they need hygiene products or they can't get the clothes that they need and things like that. So it's just filling that void so that kids can have a sense of normalcy and live a good life, as the best that they possibly can. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where does the majority of the money come from? Is it you donate stuff, Green Bay Packers guys, silent auctions, or
I'll be asking you at some point. So. now that you're in the fold, I wouldn't ask you when you were Bears, when you're on the Bears, but
understood.
We wouldn't have gotten anything for that. No. Sorry, I had to give one shot there. But we do an auction, a cool auction there. I actually. I'll usually do a trip up here to Green Bay and do tickets and things like
nice,
that. Which, Green Bay tickets, are kind of like gold. It's just like everyone thinks you can't get them. Like you can buy tickets to come to Lambeau, but they're usually pretty expensive. And then, I'll usually go out to dinner with, the people that pay for it and stuff. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, do kind of a fun event. And then, I think the Packer memorabilia, like last year, I think we raised like $10,000 just on that jerseys and footballs and different things. So it's kind of there's a market down there. They don't see a lot of, Packers all the time. And, I feel very fortunate. It's my hometown. So, I have a lot of support and a lot of people that really care about me as a person and what I do. So, it's always a fun event.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we can get right into the dad stuff.
Yes.
I mean, that's the reason why we're here. You have 5 kids.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all met 3 of them?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
3. The twins are
5.
probably
The twins aren't here right now.
5's a lot. Pat and I have a lot of questions about 5 kids.
I'd like to say I could give you some advice, but it a lot of it's just hold on and try to make it through every day, and then try to instill some really, some solid things that the kids can kind of grab onto and, keep moving them through life. But I think it's just basically, some days it's just trying to keep them alive. It's like, all right, don't hurt each other. Don't hurt yourself. Like, eat food, drink some water. All right, we made it to bedtime. Let's go on to the next day. It's like,
I wonder if the moms think that also, like just keeping them alive. I don't know if that's
sometimes
a dad thing. Because I think the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we just need to get through this, keep you alive until
That's a
mom
good
gets
day,
home.
right?
Yeah.
especially in those early days. Like, y'all are kind of in those early phases where it's like, that's a real thing. Just like, all right, they're starting to walk, and there's so many dangers. And now I'm at the age, the kids are at the age, it's kind of like I get to do some of the fun stuff, and then you got to balance being like the fun dad and like make sure that mom and I are on the same page, like doing the right things, because
That's important. That's
Yes.
important.
I could definitely cut loose and really break the trend of like some of the discipline, some of the stuff. If I the rebel in me sometimes wants to do that, but we run a tight ship around here.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Since we walked through the door. So
Yes.
if you want to go through their names, let's go through names. Start
Yep.
with the oldest. And
All
we'll work our
right.
way
So we started off with a boy, and he was born 2010, and that was the year we won the Super Bowl. And
down. Oh, nice.
yeah, so he was 6 months old, at the Super Bowl, which was pretty awesome. And I always joke with him that he's got to mow a lot of yards and do a lot of things to pay me back for that Super Bowl ticket. I mean, he's 6 months old, and I had to get him a ticket for that game. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. Yeah, and he was just held the whole time. But that's our joke. And his name's Nolan. So Molly didn't know at the time that I wanted to name him Nolan because my favorite baseball player is Nolan Ryan, and he's a Texas guy, and he's actually there in my hometown. He lives in my hometown in Georgetown.
Oh, nice.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, he I think his wife's playing in the event next week, but he was my all-time favorite. And so whenever we had 4 or 5 names, and I was like, Nolan I think is my favorite. And so I won that one. The rest of them, I don't know if I got as much say. So then we move on, and so after Nolan, after our boy, we had 4 girls. So then it goes to Charlotte, who is 8 years old, and she's in 2nd grade, and she's into cheer, and she loves like parties and like girly stuff. She is definitely our girliest girl of all of them, and I said cheer, which is a sore subject in our house now, because she's 8 years old and she is a cheerleader, and the cheer competitions are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're going, this before we come down to Florida next, we're going to Nashville for a cheer competition for 8-year-olds.
That's insane.
It is insane. Yeah. So that's kind of been our life since she started cheer. I think we've had like 5 or 6 competitions. We've gone to the Dells. We've gone to Molly went to Indianapolis, to Minneapolis. Like, they're all over the place.
That's intense.
They don't have cheer competitions apparently in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
They're not doing that here.
That's not happening here. We've been down to Chicago a couple times too. So yeah, we're all over for cheer, and I would have never thought that Charlotte would have been the girl that or the kid that we would have been doing traveling sports for. Okay, so then we move on to Elizabeth. Elizabeth is 6, and we kind of call her boss baby. She's like, she runs between the older 2 and the younger 2, and she kind of dictates the mood of the whole kid crew. Like, so whatever she's feeling kind of flows through the whole household. So
Middle child.
yeah, she went from like youngest to middle, so she's got this whole
changed
this
quick.
whole dilemma. Yeah, so she's a fun little kid, and she's kind of into everything, and she loves school, and she's just kind of a spark plug. And then the twins. So we go, Felicity technically is the next oldest. She was 3 minutes older than Christine, and they were born in 2017. And man, so scared to have twins, and like thought that was going to be just like one of the craziest experiences ever. Like it was going to be hard. Everything was going to just be double as difficult. But now that they're a little bit older, they're 4 years old, their relationship, seeing them and this off season, seeing them at home together, just they have a lifelong friend that's exactly the same age, and they can just like they just feed perfectly off of each other. It's like they're yin and yang. They just kind of like make everything just a little bit sweeter and a little bit better. So to end our kid run with twins was the scariest moment of my life, and then it ended up being one of the coolest things. Yeah. So, and then I mentioned our other twins' name is Christine, and so Felicity and Christine, I wanted to name them June and Joy, and I got June for Christine's middle name. And then after the fact, like, so Felicity is like our little like joyful child. Like she is like the one that, unfortunately, the kids, I think they like know she can be sometimes like our favorite.
Oh, geez, they already know.
Yeah, she's not. We don't have favorites, but she's like the one that just kind of like, and now is getting to the point where it's like she's a suck up. So it's like one of the kids does something naughty, and she'll just come and give you a hug and be like, you know what, I really love you, and like I think you're awesome. And you're like, because it's so sweet, but stop. You're being a suck up. We're not going to do that, But so those two are awesome. Christine is she's a singer, dancer, loves to perform. She just any chance she gets, she's singing beats to her own drum. She's kind of she's the kid that doesn't need all the other kids to kind of like do her thing. She just kind of steps and does her own thing, and sometimes it's a little difficult at 4, but it's going to serve her well down the line. So,
I was gonna say, do you have a favorite child? Is that even a thing? Like when you have 5, or is it like favorite of the week?
I think it's like
student
moment.
of the week.
It's like a favorite moment. Like it's like, oh, you're great right now, because like all the others are being jerks. But it's like I think it revolves. Yeah, it's like. You definitely can't pick a favorite like for all time, but it's, I think there's always one really upset. There's always one really happy. There's, it's like when you have 5, like there's always, you're getting the full spectrum of emotion, like on a daily basis. You know, there's very rarely that moment of euphoria is when all of a sudden, like they're all smiling, laughing, doing something in unison, and you're just like, this is what it's all about. Yeah. And then 5 minutes later, it's chaos. So that's a really quick way to describe what our house is.
Well, Pat, this is our first guest with twins. So
nice.
I would really like to know a little more about that, because I've always thought like, man, if I have twins, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were going through the same thing. Holy crap. Twins, are you kidding me? How hard is it up front though, like having twins? I mean, 2 babies crying seems pretty stressful.
Yeah. I got to give so much credit to my wife, Molly. I mean, she's just a rock star. I mean, everything she does with like full intention, and like she was prepared, ready to roll. She's a studier by nature, so she asked everybody in the world that had twins, like all the secrets, everything she could possibly, think of. And we were actually very fortunate too. Our neighbors right up the street here, they literally had the same kid setup as we did, but they started with twins. So they had twin girls, and then 2 more girls, and then a boy at the end. And so we moved in here, only had the 3 kids, and we got pregnant, and we're having twins, and it was just like it was such a God thing, because it's like, oh my God, our neighbors like know exactly. So Lisa Vivian's her name, and she stepped into our life and kind of helped lead Molly through those early times, especially, and just kind of came and helped with the other kids, and did just kind of took some of that pressure off. So that first year was kind of a blur.
I can imagine.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I've always said, it was like when we were having the twins, I was like, this is gonna be a 5-year window, just kind of knowing where the other kids were. I'm like, the first 5 years are are tough. It's like you gotta dress them, you gotta do all the little things. Like they can't do as much of their own stuff. But we're kind of moving into a phase right now, like in year 4, they're almost 5, where it's like, you know, they can kind of get themselves going. Like it's like it doesn't seem as crazy, you know. It's like we might be moving into a pretty cool spot. But you know, once you move out of that little kid phase, then you move into now they have activities and you're going to dance, you know, twice a week. And like, how do we just coordinate their stuff on a regular basis? So.
I know I was going to ask you how you carve out time for all 5 children. Like, is it, hey, listen, Monday I have this, Tuesday I have this, or is it like I just have anxiety, not giving enough attention to like one of the kids and like them resenting me, be like, oh wait, Nolan's your favorite. You know what I mean? Like that would be my.
There is a concern there for sure, and I think they feel it. They're like they kind of play on it a little bit, and it's like, well, you took Elizabeth 2 days ago. Like when's my date or when's my time to just be with you? And it's like.
I'm sure they love it, especially having 4 daughters.
One-on-one time is so important, and you have to find the time to hang out with each one of them. Even if you can like carve out 2 of them, like and get just some of those interactions. Like when they're all together, they can be pretty crazy, like pretty bad. Honestly, it's like they all feed off. Like it's just. And then Molly has a theory that. The manageable number of kids is one less than what you have. So it's like whenever I take out one of the kids and I have 4 kids, which if you had asked me 10 years ago, like if I could like handle 4 kids like by myself, I would have laughed at you like in your face. But you give me 4 kids without like one of the nuances of like the 5th, and everything just kind of works, So it's like we just kind of have figured out a system of like, all right, which kids work best together? Like, all right, we'll pod these 3 together, and like you just keep them moving and carving out time so that at least at the end of the week, my hope is that every kid had a moment that like was genuine and one-on-one, or like at least some face-to-face quality time, and then that's, I think, the best that you can do. I mean, it's like...
I mean, that's the only... Yeah. I mean...
I love driving. I love driving them to school because they're honest. Before and after school, going to school, picking them up from school, the 3 big kids, we have great conversations. And I get to kind of like know what they're doing, what they're about. Yeah. And then driving them to activities and doing that stuff. Just hearing them, and we'll pick up neighborhood kids and listen to them talk and try to feed into that, and just like hearing their personalities. I think those are the moments that like are just so important, and I love the off season because I can just be there for all that.
It's I was really going to ask you, the off season I'm sure is a lot easier to connect with them because you're not as busy. But do you guys do anything as a family? Do you get like a family affair? Like, hey, Friday nights we do this, Saturday nights we do this. I don't know if you do game night, dinners.
We do family movie night. Yeah, so like you've been down in the golf simulator, so it's that turns into our theater room on Fridays, and we have all those big pillows and like stuff to lay on, so we put those out.
That's
Everyone
cool.
just cuddles up, lays down. We put on a movie, sometimes a double feature, and just hang out. We'll order food in and just eat down there, and everyone gets to stay up. Maybe an hour later than normal.
Their bedtime.
Sometimes, I'm usually asleep. But whenever I have everyone in one place and they're all calm and I know everyone's safe and good, like I just crash out.
Oh, you got to take advantage of that.
I'm just like, all right, everyone's happy. We're good. I'm out. Like, I'll take an hour nap, and then it stinks because then you wake up at 8:30 and then you've had a little power nap and you can't go to bed now till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night because you're just wired after that. But
that's when you crush a simulator.
That's when I'll move all the stuff, start hitting some balls. Yeah, maybe play a little some video games, watch a movie, whatever. But the productive stuff.
Yeah, I think we talked about the importance of connecting with your kids, but I think it's also important about connecting with your wife. Like, do you have a certain maybe it's the Saturday or the Friday before the game, depending on when you're playing.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys had a special place you guys go to, because I think it's really important. And some of the older guys in Chicago, they said you have to carve out time for your wife. Like, you have to be able to connect with her, regardless of all the other stuff going around. Like, you owe it to your wife to connect with her. So I didn't know if you guys do anything special or a certain day that you guys kind of hang out or designate time.
Yeah, I don't. We usually get done at a decent time on Fridays, like during the season. So we actually started doing like Friday day dates. So like Friday is Molly's day to like we have a sitter watch the twins since they're not in school. So like they go and kind of do like a Mother's Day out type thing. And so Molly will work on all her stuff. And so we're usually done 12 to 1 o'clock, something on Fridays. And then I'd come home and I'd bring lunch from the stadium or whatever, and we just sit and talk and catch up and do that. So like in season, that kind of became part of our rhythm. But yeah, we try to go on a date like at least every other week, at the least. Kids hate it. Like every time we leave the house, they're just like, why, and it's like,
don't go.
And then like the second we're out of the house, like our sitters, like they just moved on to the next thing. Yeah.
Don't
So
worry
it's
about
just
it,
us leaving that is an issue, but we think it's so important for our relationship, but to just show the kids that like it's okay to we need to continue to date one another and to like have a relationship, because the stronger we are, the stronger our family's going to be, and like they're going to thrive in that space. So just continue to encourage them in that, and I think it's so important to just have that time. Those are special moments. We go down to Lodge Kohler. I think not to Lodge Kohler, to Kohler, about an hour south of here. Y'all drove through it from Chicago, and it's just an hour away, but you feel like you're like in another country. Like it's just like really awesome hotel, really great place, great food, really low key, vibe, and it's just. We go down there for a night. Like we'll get down there even some nights. Like a couple weeks ago, we got down there like 8 o'clock at night. Had a late dinner, just slept in, relaxed. Like came back later that afternoon, and we were just like rejuvenated and ready to take on the week. Yeah, that kind of stuff is just it's hard, and I think like especially y'all with young kids, it's like hard to imagine like leaving your kid or doing anything like that. But it's like it is such an important thing for your marriage, and I think for your kids. They need to see that like they're going to leave at some point.
Oh, absolutely,
and, like,
for sure.
You're gonna go back to just being the two of you, and you got to make sure that is always strong.
For sure, you got to keep that bond tight.
No doubt.
Well, you knew this was coming up, Mace. We joked about this a little bit at lunch today. You have this Sprinter van in the garage.
Yeah.
Walk us through, like, were you just like, you know what, I'm just going to go all in. Minivan's not cutting it. I need to go Sprinter van, but I can only imagine what it's like to drive with 5 kids in the car. When did you pick that bad boy up?
Well, our goal was, once we had 5, I've like wanted one since we had 3. Like I saw a couple guys on the team that had a bunch of kids, and like they built out like the decked out captain's chairs, TV, all the stuff in there, and I was like that just, it's amazing, and like it's like when you ride in the back of that thing, it's like riding in like a first class like airplane seat. Like you're just cruising, watching TV. I'm like, the kids can go for 3 hours, like whatever, like a movie or two without like having to go to the bathroom or fighting or anything. So I can just cruise. Golly. Like we can drive to Chicago without stopping, because like they just will lock in, and it's like as long as they're watching a movie and they're not bothering each other, they're pretty awesome. So it's it was kind of a necessity once the kids started getting to an age, and it's like they're getting a little bigger too, and it's like you jam them into a car and they're touching each other and fighting and like everyone has to and it's something. Like so this one it was crazy. It was in 2020, right when the pandemic hit. I'd been constantly just always checking to like see if there like this one dealership had a ton of these like always all the time, and I always wanted one with all-wheel drive. And so all of a sudden I look on their site one day, see the van we have, and I'm like, no way. This is like a sign. And we were down in Texas, and we're like, we're going to have to drive back to Wisconsin with all our stuff and everything. And so we had our minivan in Texas. We did have a minivan, which, yeah, I like driving that a lot better than a minivan. At least you're driving it. It feels like you're like a bus driver. And
right.
Like, yeah, it's kind of
cool. You essentially are at that point.
It is.
You fit the bill in that
It
thing.
is nice. And it fits 9 kids. So we can fill that thing up.
Room to grow.
Yeah,
exactly.
why not?
Well, they can at least bring a friend. Yeah. So I jumped on that right away. I gave the dealership a call. I was like, what's the price? Like, what can you do on a trade-in for this minivan? And, it actually ended up feeling like too easy and like too good to be true. And so we're literally driving from Texas up to Wisconsin. They're in like Indiana or whatever.
Okay.
And so like I met a driver, like one of their drivers. So he met us with the van like in Oklahoma or something. Yeah, I think it was Oklahoma. And I hand him the keys to the minivan, and he gives us this thing, and then I cruised it the rest of the way up. It was like it couldn't have like worked out any better. And so that summer, because like we weren't flying and doing all that, like I drove from Texas to Wisconsin, and then like I think like a month later we wanted to go to Colorado, so I drove from Wisconsin to Colorado and then back. Like I put 8,000 miles on it in the first like 3 months.
Gotta see what it can do, baby.
Exactly. That thing was a machine, man. It's awesome. It is awesome.
One of the things we talked about in the car, speaking of flying, was how do you do travel, like booking a flight with 5 kids? And it's not even the cost, but getting seats together, all of that.
Well, you bully them because like the airlines, you're just like, you want a kid sitting, with random people, like you need to put us together. So that's half the thing is like you get to the airport. If you can't get all our seats together, whenever I book it, I just walk up and I'm just like, so, we have 5 kids, like, is there anything you can do? And fortunately here in Green Bay, like, have y'all didn't fly into the airport here,
I've flown
but you
in,
have.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like you'll get to know like the
of course you will. Yeah.
Yeah. The TSA people and all like, I go up to the Delta counter and it's just like, oh, hey, good to see you again. And they're just like, oh, you need anything? Yeah. So it's like
seats on a plane.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we're traveling with everyone. You've seen our configuration here. So yeah, I love planning trips. So like, fortunately it's not something I'm like scared of, but it is kind of a juggling act sometimes. It's like I'll find 7 seats on a plane, but they might be scattered about, and you just have to like hope that the person at the counter or like somebody's willing to make some movements, or I'll just put Elizabeth next to them and they'll move.
Yeah,
I'll be like, all right, like I'll make a scene on the plane. I'll be like, all right, this twin, you're over here. This one over here. Like, who's taking care of them? I'm like, y'all got those? Yeah, just throw them some gummy bears. They'll be fine.
Jeez. Have you had any like terrible moments on an airplane?
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah, like the diaper explosions. Oh, one of the worst ones was we're connecting Minneapolis from Green Bay. We're going down to Scottsdale, and Nolan was this after? It might have just Nolan was like a year and a half old, something like that.
Jeez.
And no, he might have just been a little. It might have been right before we had Charlotte, so he was like maybe 2 years old. And we get food in Minneapolis, and like for some reason he wouldn't eat like his chicken tenders or whatever it was, and so. Like any good parent, like Molly and I are like snacking on his food, And we get on the plane, and he must have had some sense of like these weren't good or whatever, because Molly and I about 2 hours, an hour and a half into the flight, both start getting violently like sick on the flight.
Oh.
So we're sitting there, like there was one point where we had the flight attendant like holding our kid because we were both throwing up like on the plane.
Oh, no.
And so for the next like day, we're like, or whatever, that evening when we got there, we're just like out for the count, and like our 1.5-year-old's just like kind of
nursing
like
you back to
doing
health.
his thing,
Taking care of you.
So that one was rough, just because it's like there's like nothing you can do in that moment. It's like, I hope our kid is good.
Yeah,
because
that's
like,
the two that take care of them out for the count.
Exactly. Yeah, that one was rough. We've had, our kids have held up like the plane takeoff because they've had to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. Like there's like every time we travel, there's one of those like family moments where it's like we are that walking stereotype. Yeah. It's like seriously, sit down. The door's about to close. One of our kids always has to go to the bathroom. It's like with 5s, the odds are very, very high. So and they always have to, go number 2 for lack of a to keep it clean, but so it's always a long drawn out thing, and the flight attendants are usually just like, we're trying to take off, like can you do something? I'm like, yeah, like if you can hurry him up, like that'd be great. Like I just don't know how we're gonna do that.
Do you guys have any favorite vacation spots that you take the kids, or one vacation that sticks out in your mind that you guys just love so much that you would recommend to other people?
Even though Disney and Orlando and all that's crazy, like our kids' ages right now, and like what that, like this spring break, and we went 2 years ago, like just seeing their joy and the fun that they have like on that trip is like pretty awesome. It's crowded, it's crazy, like there's so much, like it costs so much, it's like ridiculous, but they just the magic of that place is pretty awesome for little kids. Yeah. So I'm going to miss that whenever they're a little bit older, and like they're just kind of like, it's not as much fun for them. Yeah. But I'm kind of like, I'm still like way into it. Like the Star Wars stuff obviously helps, like this, like kind of more the adulting stuff.
Yeah.
And I love the magic of it all. Like it's just a really, it's a fun place.
It's a great place to go.
Yeah, and family connection time is awesome. But
Josh is a big Disney guy.
So.
We're annual pass holders, so it's a great spot.
Yeah,
I'm a big Epcot fan. That's like my spot. Going around the world, it's fun.
We did Ratatouille this time.
Yeah, that's a good ride.
That was a fun one. I like all these new like free flowing rides where it's not like just set on a track and they.
Yeah, the Star Wars one's great too. I mean, that's my favorite all time. It's pretty
ride.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It was different this time than it was 2 years ago, which is crazy. Like I was like, whoa, like that was like a whole different like experience than it was the time before. Our 4-year-olds went on that, and they were like. They were like wanting to fight like the Star Troopers.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
gosh!
They were locked in. They literally thought we went to another planet. Like it was awesome. They were just like, are we in space? And they're like,
when you get off.
Yeah, and Christine, she was just like, I want to go back to our planet.
yeah, we got to get back.
Yeah, she's like, how do we get back?
We took our daughter Billy on Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway,
nice,
and she loved it. Yeah. And she's like, at that point, she was like maybe 13 months. Yeah. She was going nuts for this ride. Awesome. And I was like, I never thought about bringing a kid that small on a ride. And my wife's like, no, trust me. Like, I love Disney. Like, I used to do this when I was a kid. And I was like, whatever. Like, cool by me. I'll try it out. And she sat there the whole time, didn't budge. I was like, okay, amazing. Maybe there really is something here. Because
they know what they're doing.
She loved it.
Yeah. To be able to get them from that age till, whatever. I mean, like everybody. Just,
adults, yeah.
I mean, it fits everybody. So that's definitely my favorite place right now. I'm hoping we haven't done a ton of beach stuff. So like we're doing the beach here in a couple weeks. So
yeah.
I know the kids.
That seems so dangerous.
It does feel
5
dangerous.
kids on a beach.
That's a lot to wrangle in. You need like one per person.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit right by the lifeguard tower and you're just like, hey dude, I got 5 kids. Like, can you help me out?
Just toss
Here's
them
20.
a little, just I'm gonna double your hourly salary.
What are you
here.
paid right now?
Seriously. That might be something we have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't say that to my wife because she she thinks we're all getting eaten by sharks, and like,
Oh no.
she thinks that in like lakes, there's like when we always see it on TV, there's like the giant catfish or whatever, like the size of like a Volkswagen, and she's like, they're gonna pull me under.
Well, I'm not getting in the water by us unless it's the ocean.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
There's a gator or a snake in
there's
fresh
something.
water.
Yeah, that's not good.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good, right?
What's the worst that could happen?
Let's not go down that path.
No, let's not. But speaking of the worst that could happen, no.
Where's this going?
What does game day look like for you? Like, do the kids go to the games or do they rotate? Because I can only imagine what it's like for your wife. I mean, because my wife, we only have one right now, so it's a lot. There's a lot of prep. You got to make sure they're fed, the nap, the this,
Diaper
that.
bag.
Yeah,
everything.
It's a lot of stuff. But 5 kids.
Yeah, we don't take the twins all that much. Like, they're still kind of we kind of made a policy. It was like once they'll probably remember like some of the stuff. Like, we can start doing more of it. We have started doing some more like sweet stuff.
Right.
So we'll get a sweet for a game.
Just put them in a box.
Yeah. So that's easy, and that's like special times, and that's like usually towards the end of the year whenever the weather gets bad. So like this year we played on Christmas and had a suite for everybody, and that was like awesome. So like the kids got to go, and
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that'd be
a cool moment.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, we had Christmas morning, and then it was we had to play the game or whatever. So yeah, all that stuff. Well, actually, I take that back. That was the plan. I completely forgot. Actually, my whole family had COVID over Christmas. So that was the plan. We had a suite, but my parents and my brother were here. They got to sit in it, and like some friends of ours. But Molly and the kids, and a couple of the kids, I think a couple of the kids had like gotten over their quarantine and like were cleared. But I think it was maybe Molly and 3 of the kids were still at home quarantined.
That's usually how that works.
Like, I'd see on my brain, like, this is what happens. Your brain starts kind of like,
kids.
I forget things. Yeah,
or it just blends together.
What
I'm sure you
happened,
did that last year or the year before.
Exactly. But it's fun. I mean, that kind of stuff is fun. And that's part, it's like, those are things that, for this like next season, like, I'm sure Molly will talk to y'all about. It's just like, what do you want to do? Do we want to go in on a suite or do something? And like, you get like 2 or 3 guys and their families, and then you just, it's kind of goofy, but it's like, it's not something that you would ever do if you didn't play. So it's fun, and the kids will remember it.
Yeah.
It's like, they're cool moments.
Yeah, especially at Christmas Day game.
Yeah.
That's like highlight of their probably year.
Yeah. And but everyone loves sitting outside in Lambeau. So it's like, if the weather's nice and if it's good, like, there's not much better experience than like kind of being in the bowl at Lambeau, because it's it's just a unique thing, especially in the NFL. Like, now it's it's all club stuff and everything's kind of you have your own individual seat. Like Lambeau, it's like you still kind of have to fight for your seat a little bit because it's all bleachers.
It's strange.
Yeah,
I know it's probably one of the most historic stadiums probably in all of sport, but it's bleachers, right? It's a row of bench. You just
and you can buy like your like a little seat. So that's like what my parents do. So at least it gives you like a little space. Spot. Like, because if not, it's like you go get a snack or a beer or whatever,
shuffling
and then,
over.
Yeah, you come back in and you're like, you gotta squeeze back into your spot. Jeez, but that's how it has to be the only way that we fit as many people as we do, because it's like, probably size-wise, if you put like actual, club seats in every spot, you probably, reduce it by 20-30%. It would just take up a lot of space. So they keep it the same, and I think whenever it's cold, it keeps everyone a little warmer.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Do you have a moment in your career that sticks out in your mind with the kids, the family? I know Nolan was born Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was really special, that moment. I know he was probably crazy during the game, but maybe after the game you got to have some pictures and a moment. And that what is it like to reach the pinnacle of the Super Bowl and sharing that experience with your family?
Yeah, that was a special one. So I just remember when the game was over, confetti's falling, all that, and it's like got to I got to see my parents like right after, and then Molly and Nolan came like down the tunnel. Like it was weird. They like how they got escorted down was like different. So like I was like I thought they were lost, and then like they kind of popped out of this other area, and Nolan has his little headphones on, like kind of keeping the noise out, and just the pictures that we have of me holding him, and we got like the newspapers of Super Bowl champs, and he's just like this little thing. And then like seeing him now as like an 11-year-old, and he's just all about ball, and he's like all just like sports are his life, and like all these things. And it's like just being able to have those little moments of like, oh, he was just this little baby, and like didn't know what was going on. It's pretty cool. And yeah, so those will be cherished ones for sure. And it's crazy though. It's like you do that, and that's been 11, 12 years ago, and it's like, man, it's just like for us here, like in Green Bay, it's like the thought we'd be there again, have another. It's like it's kind of wild thinking it's been that long, and my son is the age he's at, and like we haven't experienced that again. Like and he's funny because he might be one of my harshest critics. It's like,
oh man,
what happened in the game? Like what's going? But also he's one of my biggest fans. So it's like it's kind of a fun thing. It's like I know if I can handle handle everything at home, that everything else outside of this place can just wash off.
Right. I think getting 5 kids for Molly might be tough down on the field. If you guys want to get
exactly. That might be tough.
That'd be a really tough.
We always have to have a lot of extra hands.
Oh, I would imagine
a lot of helpers, but they do a good job in those moments. It's kind of cool to like we'll look back and be like the stuff that these kids got to experience.
Yeah.
Molly talks about like she only went on a couple airplanes, as a kid or whatever. Like, I mean, we'll probably, the kids this off season we're like probably 4 or 5 different trips, like on airplanes. So
that's cool.
They just are comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And they're kind of used to like all the moving and the stuff. So hopefully it serves them well. Hopefully it doesn't just make them like anxious to like always be bouncing around and doing stuff. Yeah. We need balance.
So would you recommend to young parents out there, like they get out, experience things, take vacations, even though it is a pain? It is a pain to get everyone probably just on the aircraft or in the car going. At the end of the day, it's probably well worth it, right? Just having those moments, experiencing like life with them, because it goes by so quick, right?
For sure. I think that's one of the best things we've done is just like even when it feels like it's the dumbest thing or it's going to be like, the hardest thing ever, just doing it. And then like the after like memories and the experiences are worth it. I know all my stuff as a kid that I remember is like the kind of what we did, like sometimes even just like the journey, like getting to the places, like all the kind of crazy stuff that happened or all the, those memories. I'll never remember anything I got or any of those, like the souvenirs or the trinkets, whatever. It was like just like the memories of being with my parents and with my sister and my brother and just like enjoying that time together. Like I want to make sure I put that out into my kid's life. And like, I encourage anybody, like just take that chance. Even it's going to be hard.
For sure.
Sometimes just sitting at home is hard. So
you
just gotta go and do it.
But now this leads us into the final question.
We're changing it up today.
We're changing it up.
Curveball.
It should be an easy one, hopefully.
Yeah.
What shows are you watching in the Crosby household? Are you you guys just crush Disney Plus? You like Netflix family?
We got a lot of Disney Plus. The girls are into a show called Bluey.
Yes.
You all watch Bluey?
The best.
It actually is one of the better ones. Like, because some of these shows, it dumbs down like the family and like it makes like the dad seem kind of like lame and like you just kind of like, I don't know, it's like a little rough. It like puts the kids into this like power position and it doesn't feel like real life. And so like this Bluey is they're just sweet little kids. They like go on adventures and all that. So that's definitely one we watch a lot of. The one I want the kids to put on when we're driving the big massive van is Storks. Have you ever watched Storks?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
My favorite animated movie of all times. Like,
really?
And it's my favorite one to listen to because, like, when I'm driving, I don't get to watch it. So I'm like, if y'all are going to watch a movie right now, I'd like Storks on because there's so many lines in it that are just hilarious. And so Molly thinks it's hilarious, like, just watching me because I'll just be, like, dying, laughing while I'm, like, driving.
You're enjoying it more than the kids.
Exactly. They're like, Dad, this is, like, the 4th time we watched Storks.
Stop making us watch it.
Seriously.
So are you an Encanto family yet?
God, you know what? All the kids really like it, and they've all watched it. I have not sat down and watched the whole thing. I watched some of it on our last trip to Orlando, like watched on one of the kids' iPads while they were doing it, but didn't have any. So I'm just like, it looks interesting,
right.
But like just watched a few clips. But
I've seen it too many times.
You've seen it a lot?
Like,
you like it?
It's like on repeat. No, it's great, but it's
like
on repeat at our household.
Nice. Yeah, we were into Raya for a while.
Yeah, Raya's good.
Frozen is one of my favorite.
That's a good movie
all time. So
that was the Nick Foles movie.
Nice. I try to keep the girls continuing to like Frozen because I don't want that one to end. Like as soon as like the twins stop liking Frozen stuff, it's gonna be a sad day in this house.
Yeah,
so you're a huge fan.
I am a huge fan. I saw the original one. Like it was with kids and with like family. Don't worry, I didn't go by myself. I had kids at this point.
Judge-free zone here. Judge-free zone.
Yeah, exactly. No, trust me, my family's inside.
They're waiting on me.
I went and saw it like 4 times in theaters. Okay. Yeah, like I was that into it.
Yeah.
And now we're watching some, like the kids are getting a little bit to like they don't have to watch animated, so like we love like because little girls are like they love performing, so Greatest Showman, like those types of movies where they can get up and sing and dance and stuff. Those are good family night movies. We'll throw those on and they can dance around and all in front and everything. Those are special moments for sure.
What about you and your wife? Do you guys have any time you just watch a show together?
We try. We find ourselves again like falling asleep most of the time when we turn something on. So we added on like a living room, sunroom a couple years ago, and we'll get in there after the kids go to bed, and it's like, all right, let's watch a movie, and like we always stupidly get in the same spot that we know we're gonna fall asleep, and it's like,
hey, this time you aren't.
It's just like a black hole. Yeah, just get there, and like it's like, all right, we're gonna make it more than 5 minutes, and then we're just out.
So you usually crash before your wife?
No, she's usually out. I make it like 6-7 minutes. Like, I usually take pictures of her passed out.
I love it. So like no Tinder Swindler? You haven't watched that yet?
No. What is that one?
You're gonna do your homework.
I do.
When I come back here.
Yeah, I don't have all the good ones. I like the kind of gory, like the Viking shows, like the Last Kingdom and the Viking.
Molly puts up with those, or
she doesn't.
No. Those like when you're on the airplane by yourself going to the game or something. Like, yeah.
She's like, Mason. If she were here, she'd say he loves shows that either have like some billionaire that's created some sort of like fantasy world, and there has to be someone, like a dragon or someone killing. I'm like, she's basically saying Game of Thrones with like some other game associated to it, but yeah, I do. I like some of those kind of weird ones like that. But I've been watching that Last Kingdom lately.
Okay.
On Netflix, and it's interesting. I love history. I love kind of like, oh man, it's just like are these like actual like historical events, and they're kind of making them cinematic. But so yeah, that's kind of what I'm into.
Nice.
Yeah.
I check that out now.
What are y'all into?
The Office is a repeat.
Yeah,
probably watched it like 70 times through. But I did just watch Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
So never watched it.
Yes.
Very good show, by the way. Very funny. Very well written.
Have y'all ever watched, we just finished up, well, I've watched it, I think, through twice, New Girl?
I've only seen a few episodes. It's
one you have to like kind of get into and get the characters established, because like the Nick and Schmidt, like two of the characters are some of like the best characters in a TV show.
Jess's roommates, right? Yeah.
They're just hilarious. But like at the beginning, it's like takes a little bit, and then once you kind of get to know like those characters, like It is. Yeah, it's a funny show. I like that one.
So Molly hasn't watched Inventing Anna.
She has.
Has she?
I did not watch that, but she just crushed through that in
man.
Orlando, I think.
Shelby hates shows, and she crushed that.
Really?
I was like, what is going on?
Even
in
I
this
heard
show?
about it from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't even know the concept. Yeah, someone like a con artist or something, right?
Essentially.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. But I'm looking forward to the Formula One, the new.
Yes, Drive to Survive.
Yes.
Oh, really?
It's out.
Nice.
Josh is a huge car guy too, but he's teaching me along
Cars
the
and
way.
watches.
Yes.
And beer.
He's got hobbies, man. He's
A
got
lot of other things.
Seriously. Locked in.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Nice.
But Mace, we appreciate your time,
Yeah,
man.
it was
Busy
fun.
man, dad of 5 kids.
Yep, we're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Thanks for jumping on.
Y'all have fun tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Locker Room Dads is brought to you by Stormhouse Brewing. South Florida's best pint and bite is located in sunny North Palm Beach. Whether you're looking for a great craft beer, delicious food, or watching your favorite team, they're always brewing the perfect storm. And Coach First. Coach First is a fully integrated app that is designed for athletes and coaches alike. Whether you want to book your next training session or take your coaching to the next level, Coach First is the app for you. Find them on the App Store and sign up today.